Of course, it's not going to be the last word on alcohol. It never will be, because we're all very interested in it.
Dennis O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. I wanted to make some comments about the new proposed section 382 about pricing and also about labelling. First of all, New Zealand First does not necessarily support the concept of minimum pricing, nor necessarily reject it either. But we do acknowledge that price is relevant to consumption, especially by young people, and that, of course, is what leads to abuse. However, we also acknowledge that there are many problems with minimum pricing as a concept and many possible loopholes. We do agree with the government that it needs very comprehensive investigation, and we're very glad to see that the government has committed itself to a program of investigation on this issue. I would have to say, however, having just heard the Minister, that I wonder whether she has in fact already made her decision about this, and whether that investigation would actually make any difference at all. I hope that's not the case. I hope, like us, the Minister will wait, see the results of that investigation, look at the facts, and then make an assessment, firstly, about whether some means of minimum pricing is appropriate and practical, and how that might be implemented in a sensible way. However, although we don't necessarily support nor reject minimum pricing and will wait for the investigation, we do think that there is absolutely no harm in supporting SOP 113 in the name of Leanne Dalziel, simply because of the reasons she and Charles Chauvel gave, and that is that all it does is to provide a provision for regulations to be made, if any are to be made in the future. That is a completely harmless provision, and it may actually turn out to be very useful if the results of the investigations do indicate that minimum pricing is worthwhile and that there is a practical and sensible way to do it. So I would not understand why anyone would vote against this, because there is no good reason to do that. And the Minister certainly has not given any convincing reason why a provision for regulation should not be included in the bill. So New Zealand First will support it for that reason alone. But as to whether we support regulations in the future, we reserve our position. I would also like to mention labelling. It is set out in SOP 114, the provision that I wish to address. And in that SOP, the intention is to ensure that alcoholic beverages are no longer exempt from the requirement to provide a label with a nutrition information panel according to the Food Standards Code. Alcoholic beverages, as we know...
Order. The member's talking about Part 6. You come to Part 3, please.
Sorry, this is section 382. This is clause 382. SOP 114.
It'll be considered in Part 6.
Really? Well, I'll reserve my comments until then. Thank you.
Chris Farfoy.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair, for giving me the chance to speak to Part 3.